I had just arrived at the dog park, pulling Mom Lady on my leash, and I could already sense that something wasn't right. I barely slept the night before, my person pal, and if there's one thing I'm really good at, it's sleeping. And eating, but mostly sleeping. You see, something had kept me awake. Something horrifying. And I'm not talking about my archest of enemies who lives in the hallway closet, the vacuum cleaner. No, it was far worse. I'm talking about an eerie howling in the night that jangled my bones and prickled my whiskers with fear. It was a high-pitched, whiny yell, and it echoed through the streets like something from one of the scary movies I've watched with Ruff on the picture box. Now, normally, I love watching those things. I do love them, honest I do. I only pretend to be afraid so Ruff doesn't feel, embarrassed when he gets scared. But I gotta admit to you, my person pal, the howling that night was far scarier than any mutant monsters or vampire villains. Anyway, after I'd reached the dog park with Mom Lady, peed on the gate and crossed the playing field, I spotted my mutt mates huddled near the jungle gym, and I just knew they'd heard the horrible howling too, and were every bit as spooked as I was. It didn't take long before my petrified pooch pals were all waggy-tongued and yapping about last night's strange events. "I think it was the ghost of my Uncle Fluffy," said Odin. "It made my tail tremble," said Betty. "I couldn't eat my kibble," said Lola. "Yikes," said Diego. The only one of us who didn't hear a thing was Genghis. He's normally the most nervous of all of the pack, but lucky for him, he missed all of it. You see, the little guy recently picked up a pretty impressive case of fleas from his neighbor's cat, Doris. The Hills Village veterinarian put Genghis on some mega-strength new flea medication that makes him super snoozy, and he slept right through the howling. I feel kinda jealous, but not all of us were so fortunate, my furless friend. This is the part that gets scream-maliciously terrifying. Brace yourself. Just as we were yapping away, sharing our versions of the strange events, Lola burst into tears. She was a complete muddle of whimpers and whines, I swear. At first, we couldn't get anything out of her except sobs and a few worried woofs. Until finally she said, "Last night, it wasn't just a bunch of howling. Whatever it was, it stole Mr. Fuzzbutt." I think those words will haunt me for the rest of my life, my person pal. Have you ever heard anything so awful, so unspeakable, so claw-curlingly petrifying? Oh, wait. I'm forgetting that you, my furless friend, are a human, and to a person like you, that probably doesn't sound quite so dreadful. Let me explain. If you've never had the pleasure of having your life poochified by a masterful mutt like me, you may not know how important it is for every dog to have their favorite toy. I'm being serious. Our days would be meaningless without them. It makes no difference how big or small or pampered or mangy or scary or growly or fluffy or dirty or scratchy or jumpy or yappy or happy or grouchy you are. It is one of the oldest rules in the Licky law books that every pooch must have a bestest toy to love and chew and play with when their pet humans aren't around.